What is going on, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back again to talk about some fighting games. And this time we're going to be talking about a special fighting game that came out called Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. A lot of people jumped on this game and it's having a blast. And there's been a competitive scene starting to get some spotlight. And I got a chance to talk to Diaphone because he entered a tournament not too long ago. So, I wanted to go ahead and get a perspective on not only should you buy Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but what to expect playing this game. And Diaphone, what is good, bro?
Yo, what's good, Kizzie? Thank you so much for having it on. And yeah, the first thing you said was a fighting game. I know if you go on Twitter, you go on X, and some people are debating whether it's a fighting game at all. But yeah, it's kind of its own thing. And I think this is something you have to, even if you're going in from the competitive spectrum or even just a casual spectrum, like as long as you go with an open mind and just treat it as a game, I think you'll have fun. And that's really what matters when you're trying to debate whether to buy something or not.
Yeah, and that's a good question. That's a good way to just start it off, man. Should you buy it? One thing I could say, I'm going to just talk about the bad things, because, one of the biggest, huge things that I think this game is lacking really bad is the lack of crossplay. I feel like with this IP and just the strength of the game and, like, what it brought, this game has always been some of the fan favorites for decades, I want to say. And the fact that they didn't have crossplay, I think is a really, really bad direction. And I think it's a huge L on the decisions part. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an L. It's weird to me because I feel like the budget for this game was probably pretty high, and we've already sold 3 million copies. So it's not like they don't have the budget to put into making crossplay when you see other much smaller games have crossplay, right? Like, to me, it just doesn't really make sense why you don't have it there. So, someone on PS5 could play with your friend on PC, or even for tournaments, right? Having all the best players in one tournament is really nice, as opposed to being segregated across different scenes. But at the same time, I think crossplay is actually less essential for a game like this compared to, I don't know, Under Night in Birth or some shit, right? Because there's just so many people that play this game. Like literally, it's the Steam charts are way above any other fighting game at the moment. And that's because like you'll still always find people to play in ranked. And if you're like a casual player, like really the only thing you care about is like, can I play against my friends? And that's where the crossplay issue is, as opposed to like being able to find matches online, which no one's gonna have an issue with for now, or I think the foreseeable future, because there's just so many people playing the game in the first place.
Being able to spend like $70, excuse me, not even $69, $59.99, $70, $69.99. I would expect a little bit of crossplay. That's how I look at it. If you're gonna spend $70 for a game, if it was like $50, I could be like, yeah, it's $50. Things like that, but it's $70, and the replay, like the single player experience, and like all of the customization and stuff, and then I compared in like another game that has crossplay, it's literally night and day. So I'm very surprised, and I would think that is a big miss, personally, for me.
There's a tournament like 3 days ago. I wasn't able to enter it because I was on PC and I was PS5. And yeah, I could have spent 70 extra bucks, but I'm too cheap for that. I don't want to spend 70 extra bucks for a game that I already have. So
yeah, if it was 50,
it would have been nice to enter that tournament, but
yeah. Well, let me ask you this: if it was $50, would you be like, $50? Nah, it's not that bad. I'll play ball.
It's the principle of it, right? I'm like, this game should have crossplay. I'm not gonna buy it twice. It just kind of fits the whole vibe of like when Bandai Namco designed this game, they really did not care about competitiveness, right? Which I think is fair. And obviously, it's been paying off. We already have 3 million sales for Sparking Zero. And so like things like rollback netcode or which is like the more responsive, how I say it, it's basically better than netcode. I don't know what the best way to describe it. And crossplay and other features like balancing and that sort of thing like are clearly missing from this game. And the main question is like, does that matter, right? Because we've already sold 3 million copies in the last 24 hours. In the first 24 hours the game launched, we're probably closing in on 4 million by this point. And honestly, I'm not sure, right? Like if they're gonna redirect their resources to making the story mode great and making the customization, like all the things the casual people care about, great, and that's what sell copies, and having 186 characters or whatever, I don't know. I feel like that's a tough business decision to make.
As far as the netcode, I mean, let's talk about the netcode a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't ran into any bad matches except for probably one. But everything else has been like smooth like butter. How's your experience been?
So it depends. I don't know how much hours you put in this, right? I thought for the first 20, 30 hours I played this game, I thought the netcode was very good. I was like, who cares about rollback? Because, like, realistically, the way you win in early Sparking Zero is you have to master, like, the basics, right? It's like, do I know when to use perception? Do I know when to block? Do I know when to super dash or whatever that means, Z-burst dash? And then, do I know the cheap stuff, right? And once you get all that, none of that matters about the netcode, right? But then when you get to a really high level, right? So I just played a tournament. I was in losers finals, and the main reason I lost in losers finals of this tournament was because I could not time my vanishes and super counters as well as my opponent, right? And the fact that because it's delay based netcode, the timing for those super counters and vanishes are variable depending on the opponent I play. So it's like you're trying to play a rhythm game, but sometimes you have to play on a laggy TV, and sometimes it's a lag free TV. But it's really hard to tell, like, when you're, when you're doing it too early and too late. And I think for the vast majority of people, the netcode is completely fine, right? I think a lot of these things, like crossplay and rollback, like, disproportionately affect the competitive scene. And to me, it's like, I feel like most people watching this video, because this is on like a fighting game channel, it's probably people looking to play this a little bit more competitively as opposed to the story. I think it's pretty obvious that they didn't have competition in mind, but at the same time, like, it's about how much fun do you have, or can you get out of it, right? And to me, obviously, I like the game. I've had a lot of fun, even with its faults.
Because I mean, the company said specifically that, this game we're not trying to balance this game. Mm-hmm. But it's funny that I guess something happened and they were like, we're going to make some adjustments. To
be fair, the actual quote is they intentionally make characters like Gogeta SS4.
Yeah, lore strength. Like lore strength.
Stronger than, low characters, right? Which is 100% true. But thankfully that's balanced out through the DP system, which basically means that you can only have so many strong characters on a team until you run out of BP, and then you no longer add characters. So, like, the game's actually I think the game's actually more balanced than people give it credit for.
I agree with that.
Until the DP, a very high level.
I would say that the DP system, in my opinion, depending on how you want to play your team, it really gives you a chance to fight the stronger characters in a unique way.
Yeah.
Still, obviously, the characters that are strong are still going to be powerful, and like, even if you get the best player that plays Gogeta and the best player that plays, like, Piccolo, obviously it'd be really hard for the Piccolo player to be able to fight that. But with a DP system, maybe 3 characters can kind of fight Gogeta and get Gogeta out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of have limited resources afterwards.
I think that's
pretty
idea.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. And I think they should have game modes like that for, like, fighting games. Like, so for example, if you play like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they should have like a game mode where it's like a DP system where and that should be like a fun thing. And I think that'd be really great for just people just playing, and like you'll be able to see different varieties and stuff like that. I think that'd be like a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's tough to put that in the actual game because, like, when the developers make it, I think like a game like UMVC3, I think the developers intended for the game to be balanced. It just happened not to be balanced, right? So if you're gonna like hard code that in, to me that's more something like the community has to do, right?
So there was an interview actually to Capital. There was an interview, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, you sure you want like Virgil to have these things?" And he was like, "Yes, because Virgil was cool." So, if that's what balancing is, he should do this because it's cool. That's kind of like how some of the balances some games are. But to kind of get back a little bit on track and things like that. So yeah, we talked about how it is fun. You could definitely if you're trying to get into it like competitively. I mean, there is going to be faults coming in, and you first of all, I think the biggest fault is like which platform should you buy it for? Well, that's a really hard question to ask because there's so many tournaments happening. Even that is outside of the fighting game events, there's so many tournaments happening, and we don't know what console to play on.
Just not Xbox. I can tell you that.
Is something's wrong with the Xbox version?
I heard that, but also like no one's playing on the Xbox compared to PS5 and PC.
But see, here's the problem. Let's say, for example, I'm a viewer and I hear you say that, and I'm like, well, all I have is an Xbox. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can still get it, but yeah, I mean, if you're looking to play competitively, you're not going to find it sucks to be you, but you're not going to be able to find very many tournaments.
Oh yeah, word. Damn. Well, unfortunately, my Microsoft friends, maybe you can send an invite to somebody on your friend list. I
was told that this game's mainly played competitively on PS5, which is why I bought the PS5 version, right? And even looking at like some of the future tournaments, so TNS is running PS5 and PC tournaments, so they're doing 1 week. Last week was PC. This week is PlayStation 5, right? So it sounds like they're rotating. And there's this tournament ran by Globeku that they're like an anime fighting game expert, right? But they have like this like arena fighting game Evo essentially every year, and even that, which is in like next month, it's ran on PlayStation as well. So I think if you are looking to play this game competitively, probably you should favor PlayStation if you have the option.
But yeah, if there's one good thing you could say about this game, one of the biggest big positive thing, what would that be for this game?
Oh, that's free. It's fun as hell. I mean, I think for the casual player, I think the custom battles and the story mode, like that's really where you're focused on, right? I didn't really care about either. I'm gonna keep it real. I played 10 minutes of story mode. I'm like, this is not for me, right? I like playing games competitively, so I'm gonna play games competitively, right? I think the ranked matchmaking is very fast, right? In general, until you get like super sweaty, you don't really have to worry about netcode. And the balance isn't terrible. I think unless you're at like the point, like the 1% of players that are really good, you don't really have to worry about balance because really this game has such strong universal mechanics like perception and Z-burst dash and vanishing and super counter that mastering those is really where the skill comes into play, right? But yeah, I think it's just fun. It's really unique. There's a lot of cool systems. There's a lot of tech and there's a lot of like, how do I say, ways to learn the game. Let's put it that way. I think it's just it's refreshing because it's different. And if you're a fighting game player and you're looking for something different, even though I might not play this game competitively that much unless there's like a patch, because at high level I think the metagame's a little bit stale. It's very rhythm like. It's very timing based on delay based netcode, which is like not really my thing. But
so the game is soft. So the game is soft right now.
We mean soft.
I said solved.
Solved. I don't think it's solved. It's just because we actually don't know who's like super top tier and whatnot. Like there's actually a few different camps. Like some people think After Image Strike is really strong. Some people think Full Power is really strong. Some people think characters like Instant Spark are really strong. Some people think androids are really strong. So I don't think it's solved in terms of character, and that's why I think the game's like somewhat balanced because there's a lot of viable characters right now currently. Like obviously there's the broke stuff like Yajirobe and the androids that can just run away the whole game, but for the most part, like it's pretty balanced. And the reason is that the universal mechanics are so strong, but specifically super counter and vanish are just so strong that if the opponent is better than you at those mechanics, which are basically just timing related, then they're gonna win. That's really what it comes down to, is who can gather ki more and then time their vanishes so they win the vanish war, so that you take damage and then repeat times 100 and then game's over.
I think the biggest thing about this game that stands out for me of why I think you should buy it is that the customization is out this world. There's so many costumes in this game, and I will say Goku has all of the costumes, and there's a lot of cool customization and things like that. I think that's really cool. There's a lot of titles that you could collect. There's so many things that you could like buy from like Dragon Balls and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. I also think like the game types are also pretty cool too. I like the episode mode and like the custom stuff too, where like the what if stuff, and or you could like customize your own like type of, I guess, fight, and I think that's pretty sick. World tournament, you could play online with like cool rules and things like that. So I would say that it has a lot of cool things to just do. That it's just not only rank match, player match, because I feel like a lot of these games, when they released, like even like a couple of games like Jujutsu Kaisen and like Naruto, it was very bare bones, and I feel like this one is not bare bones whatsoever. So I think that is a good perk just for this game.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It definitely feels like this game got the bells and whistles for sure.
For real, dog. Like I feel like the CEO of Namco was like in development with this game. He was like, oh, we gotta make sure this is good. But overall, do you have any final thoughts?
Hey, I mean, if you really clicked on this video to figure out whether you should buy Sparking Zero or not, you gotta ask yourself, is this game gonna be for me? Am I gonna have fun with this game, right? Because really, we're buying games to enjoy them and to have fun, and really, you gotta ask yourself that. For me, I enjoy it. I like fighting games, and I can play this competitively. So even though I've played probably 50 hours, I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna play. I enjoyed my time with it. It is fun. I would recommend it, but it really comes down to you and your personal preferences and what you have fun with.
Awesome. And with that being said, man, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, links down in the description, but YouTube at Diaphone, Twitch and Twitter at Diaphone_. And yeah, if you're interested in learning Sparking Zero or other fighting games, come check me out.
And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about the conversations that we had. You guys have a great time, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel, and leave a like, please.
Take care.
I will appreciate you guys leaving that like.
Like, share, and subscribe.